I think what you're speaking to is integrity, and not everybody has it. There are some people that will absolutely sell someone on, well, that's what you said you wanted. And they will then upsell them later and say, well,
Yeah.
now that you realize that's not what you really wanted, let's go ahead and make sure that we can get you what you want. But it's an upsell, it's not the correct sell. And what I appreciated from when you first mentioned it to me, and then even a better explanation now, is the care that you put into making sure that people are not just getting validated on, well, we want this. So, just give us what we want. There are people that are that way, but they will actually thank you or give you that handwritten note later when they say, you know what, you could have just been agreeable and done what I asked you to do, but you actually made sure that I got what I wanted. You
Yeah.
made sure that I got what I needed. Knowing that someone's getting a little older, I know that they're not going to want to go up and down to try to be able to take care of all of that. There's also just the analogy beyond the plants. You're talking about scaling. I know from plants that I have plants that grow, like my Monstera, it will grow in so many different directions and take up a whole bunch of space. I have to
Yeah.
know when to scale it back and be able to say, you know what, these are the confines of what I need you to be able to grow within and stake it and do different things to be able to make sure that it grows out the way that I want to be able to have it grow. That's in life, that's in business, that's in so many different things. If you are just allowing things to grow in any direction without any kind of system process or anything, you don't know what to expect. You
Mhm.
will end up having people with very high expectations and a lot of disappointment on the back end. What you're doing is you actually have a system and you've thought through the process enough to be able to say, okay, yes, I could do that, but I can also create some other options. So when
Yeah.
someone says that's what they want because it looks beautiful, I can actually give them options that allow them to be able to have it in a way that works for them.
Yeah.
So I bring that back around full circle to being able to say, yes, there are the live living walls, but there are also the people that are not very good or they may not be in a position to. So it's not about them not having the ability to be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's about, I mean, the want or the desire. They may want to be able to do it, they just may not be able to do it. So having options that allow people to be able to have the same or similar experience without compromising themselves is something that those are the extra measures that make the difference between someone having longevity and someone being able to close a deal.
I agree. I liken it to people having a lawn or having artificial turf. A lawn has to be mowed. There is no maintenance-free lawn. If that's what you enjoy doing, and then you get the benefit of it. But if it's not
Mhm.
what you enjoy doing, then choose an easier route.
Yeah, I can tell you this, and we talked about it. I've got plants in just about every single room, minus the bathrooms. And when I open the door, like there's this long hallway, and what they see is they see that I live off the water, so they see the terrace, they see the view, and they're like, "Why do you have so many plants? Like it looks like it's a jungle in there." And I'm like, "You have no idea how much pleasure I get from seeing and maintaining the plants, knowing
Yeah.
that it's something that gives back to me." So it's not just I liken the plants to customers. As much care as you give them is as much as you're able to get back on the back end. If you're just about bringing it in and go and set it and forget it, I put it in a corner, I'm not thinking anything of it. Who knows what's going to happen? Like you can get weeds. Weeds will grow up at just about anywhere. But if you want something that's really built for you and it's going to align with what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, get something that allows you to be able to do what you want to be able to do. I know we'll stick with plants to a certain extent. There are zones. As many times as I try to get certain plants, they're like, that's just not in your zone. And I'm like, well, I could create something. I could do this. I could get the lights. I could do this. And I mean, I would get something that would bloom, and then that was it. And I could never get it to come back again properly. And I had to eventually realize, you know what, you have to stay within the realm of what's actually possible and not just let someone sell you on the thing because you say that you want it. They warned me, they told me, and me being stubborn, I went ahead and did it anyway. And you know better than anyone else. It's nothing quite like seeing a plant suffer and die when you
Yeah.
know that there's not a lot that you can do to be able to correct it.
But I love the analogy with it being customers. Like customers are the same way, right? Like
Mm,
I think that's really, really that's my takeaway from the podcast. Like
appreciate that.
it's yeah, they've got to be nurtured and they've got to be looked after and they've got to be in the right place and all that stuff. That was really good. Thanks.
No, no worries. I'm very human orientated. I am a consumer first. And I think that's one of the things that make good business people is not to forget what it's like to be a consumer. Anytime I do something, I'm always trying to think about what would it be like to be at the other side of that table.
Right.
I believe that there are a lot of people that focus on the sale and they forget that everything that comes after. If you look at the customer journeys that people put out as far as strategy, there's no like trust. They don't really talk about what happens after the sale.
Yeah.
There's just so much talk about everything that you do leading up to it. And my thing is, you know what? The real fun and the excitement is in everything that comes after. So when it came to advertising and marketing, there were a lot of people that did sales. I'm older. So when we did sales, we sold it and we kept it and we had to manage it. Now there's sales where they'll sell and then they hand it off to the account manager. And I'm like, you can sell anything. But if you can't back up what you're saying after the sale and they don't see you again, then it gives you room to not have that same level of integrity. My thing was always, I want to be the person after you spend your money because that's where the real relationship is. And that's where you have more time to figure out how to be able to make sure that you're getting people those results. I think there are some result driven and solution orientated people. And those are the people that thrive in that circumstance. And there are the people that are willing to tell you what you need to hear. And they don't thrive in that situation because there's a level of accountability that comes with it.
No, I think that's right. And I think ultimately that in a lot of ways, that comes down to the difference between being an entrepreneur and being employed. So for those people that are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs that aren't entrepreneurs, if you get the buzz from wanting to have that long ongoing relationship, then go for it. But
Mm,
if you don't want to be the guy or the girl that's there where the buck stops, then entrepreneurship's not the right decision. Because
yeah.
ultimately about being an entrepreneur is when I was in corporate, it's super easy, right? Like this didn't
Hmm.
get done. It was that guy's fault, was that guy's fault, was that guy's fault.
Yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, there's either cash in the bank or there's not cash in the bank.
Hmm.
And no one cares about any excuses
Yeah.
with you, and that's it's great because you get all the reward, and it's not so great because you take all the it all comes back to you. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work out, it's on you.
There's accountability there, and that's one of the things that I try to convey to people: the importance of putting a foundation and a system in place. We both have an appreciation for the process. You need to understand that before you get into it, because if you don't understand that, what I will tell some people is you can technically be an entrepreneur, but what you'll be is a business owner that needs to hire really, really well. So that may be your gift of being able to pick out talent. With getting a start in the music industry, I realized that there were some people that couldn't sing a note, but they could pick out talent. And I call those the kingmakers. You can be a kingmaker. You can
Yeah,
hire the right people that know how to be able to do things. And technically, that will allow you to be able to do that. But you will be someone that is an employee in a way in your own business because you can't drive any of that. You have to hire people to be able to do those things. Whereas with me and a lot of other business owners like yourself, you have the capacity to learn how to be able to do these things and decide whether or not it's something that you want to be able to do. There are the people that can't do it and they're very transactional. The way that I explain it is there are basically two pathways. There's preventative measures and reactionary solutions. People that have that more nurturing nature, I would say preventative measures because you have to care. You have to be able to take something and present it to people before it's prioritizing them. You have to give them a reason to be able to say, like with the greenery and the grow walls. There's some people that will go, yeah, I mean, that sounds nice, but why would I need it? Until they actually talk to some people that have it. And you have to be able to give them that visual and give them the experience so that they can go, oh, yeah, I would like that. Transactional people are very, okay, now that I know that this is prioritized by the person, I can step in, take care of that, and then I'm back off onto the next thing. Yes, you can do that, but you still have to have a plan for what happens after that transaction. Because if you're spending all of your time trying to get a new person because you didn't care about the original person that you got, I joked with a client that I had, and he would focus on getting a sale, but then there was nothing after. And I said, dude, you're like a one night stand of entrepreneurship. You're not doing any of the things that make people feel like it was a good investment. You have to focus on the investment part that comes after, not just getting the sales. So it breaks my heart when I hear about the no like trust and people don't talk about any of the things that come after. One of the things that I loved about our conversation was how much focus you put on the things that come after, but you put it before the sale, not after the sale. You put it before the sale when someone's like, oh, I want this. And it's like, I could give you that. But I also want to think about everything that happens after. I don't want to put something high up on a wall that you're not going to be able to get to. I want to make sure that you're able to groom it to make sure that it always looks the way that you want it to be able to look. There are people that are naturally gifted at thinking about what happens after and then moving that to the beginning part of the sale. And that's what makes you a foregone conclusion, as opposed to someone that has to do that hard sale, because the hard sale means that you probably haven't taken enough time to talk about what happens after. You're only
yeah.
telling them about why they should give you their money. And I mean, 90% of transactions are emotional. The emotion comes when you talk about what happens after, not the reasons why someone should give you their money.